And what's cool about this is SVG is just an element, right? You can see there, SVG, it has attributes. It looks very familiar, right? And it has all the CSS styles and everything. And I'm thinking to myself, okay, I want to make this thing like positioned exactly the way I want it. Like I'd written it by hand. It's just a polyline underneath with an attribute that contains all the ordered pairs inside. And it just goes point to point to point to point, and then I get a T-shirt. When I first put it in the site, though, it was a little bit too small, and I was so proud of the fact that I had written up a T-shirt by hand that I didn't really want to go back and do it. So instead, I applied a transform attribute to the T-shirt, which enlarged and repositioned it. And part of the process of doing that actually was iterating in the dev tools. So just sort of a example here, you can alter the scale of something, and obviously it exceeds the bounds of the container. But what's cool about that is I can just iterate on my SVG as I go. It's pretty awesome stuff. If I want to adjust the scaling or the color or any of that stuff, I can go into the dev tools and have the exact same power that I had with a div in HTML. Now here's the big feature that we've added in the IE9 platform preview build so far, and that is the network monitor. So the network monitor is a pretty lightweight way of inspecting the HTTP traffic that comes from your application or comes back. So we have cool stuff like the ability to see request headers, response headers, request bodies, response bodies, all kinds of cool stuff. And in fact, we even capture requests and responses from Ajax, Flash, Silverlight, actual components that operate within the browser as well. Unlike Fiddler, which Eric Lawrence talked about just briefly a few minutes ago, this is not meant to be a very low-level inspector. Like you're not going to find packets or anything like that. But what it does do is give you the ability to look into actual requests, sort of pick them apart, and we sort of optimize for the use case of an actual web developer. I find this so useful when I'm doing like Ajax, and it's not exactly clear where my error is coming from. And I can just go in and see, okay, this is the data that I'm posting. I can get a response back, and then I can see exactly what is going wrong if something is. And then as Eric was talking about, we have a very easy XML export feature so that if you do need a somewhat heavier weight debugging tool, you can take the data from the profiler and just pipe it in to one of those tools. So I'm just going to show that off briefly, actually. So in the platform preview, just go to the network tab, and sorry, I should switch monitors. And you can see here, so far we just have a blank thing. I'm going to clear the browser cache first because network round trips to local disk are not that interesting. And what we've done here is actually created a way for you to just view all the HTTP traffic that's going through your application. So I can start capturing here, and then I can just refresh, and I can see all the requests that I have going through. So this is useful because you can see some cases where maybe I have a 404 or something like that. In fact, I was using this last night, and one of the cool things was we had sort of this dependent directory structure where we had includes for like the DOM viewer that I was talking about before and stuff like that, and it wasn't completely clear why it was failing exactly. So just looking at this, I was seeing I was getting a 404 in a certain path. I could see exactly where the framework was requesting the folder, and I could go in and fix my code, which is pretty cool. Stuff like that's pretty useful, but it goes so much deeper than that, actually. And I can go into a detailed view here and look at the actual request header, look at the response body, the response header, and see what exactly I'm sending over the server as I go. And it's pretty cool stuff. So Network Monitor is something that you can use in the platform preview build today. And hopefully it'll make your experience with Ajax applications that much easier. All right, so I have about 3 minutes left, so I'm just going to blow through some slides I have here. So I wanted to go over a few things that are like tips and tricks, stuff I learned as I was writing up this presentation, and hopefully things that will make your life a little bit easier dealing with the dev tools, little things that I didn't even know. So here's the inspecting headers facility of the network monitor, which we just went over. It gives you the ability to see sort of what data you're sending to or receiving from an application. This is cool because you can even use it for server-side stuff as well, in cases where you're sending data from form or something like that, and it's not working the way exactly that you want it to. SVG debugging, which I also talked about, the ability to modify attributes and things like that and just sort of iterate on your new markup in the same way as your old markup. This one's pretty cool. Like, we actually hooked up the selectors API with our search box such that you can get to elements within markup that much more easily through the dev tools. So if you go into the search box today, you can specify something like that and actually go wherever you want to go. This is the way that you can actually customize whatever application you want to use to view your markup in sort of an external editor. We just have Notepad up there, but if you had something else that was more your fancy, it's totally possible to do that. This one's cool as well. You can actually step through a line in the debugger. So if I have multiple statements, as I often do when I have sort of an inline event handler on an element, I can go through and just like debug each statement within the line, which is kind of nice. We made sure that, again, going back to developers as humans, we made sure that the dev tools were pleasing to the eye as well, and that you could go in and you could actually have a nice font that we got and have a good experience there. And then we also made sure that the dev tools were accessible. So we support a lot of keyboard stuff in the dev tools, and we did our best to make sure that they're consistent with the shortcuts in Visual Studio and other programs. And one last little thing: the color picker is something that I find pretty nice every now and then when I just need to like match an element here or there and just put it into my site as is. And then one last thing. So if you want to simulate how your site will look on different monitor sizes, there aren't too many ways that are easier than just doing the resize functionality there. So before I leave, I just want to do a call to action. First of all, just press F12. I want you to go back and open up IE8 and just say, here exactly is, here are the dev tools, and try them out, if you haven't before. Also, go to ietestdrive.com. You can get the platform preview build there, and you can look at all the demos that I've been writing or other people have been writing and have some cool experiences with the latest IE. And then lastly, I want you to tell us what you think. We have some cool facilities for you to give us feedback as an IE team. And please do come by the Commons and visit me and Eric so we can talk to you. We'd love to hear from you. Cool. So that's the presentation. Thank you very much.